Last week, during our discussion of 7 things you shouldn't do if you're trying to conceive, I had left out one. And I said to you that that particular one, I think, is something that should merit a full episode. So today we'll be talking about the 7th thing I think you shouldn't do if you're trying to conceive. One of the things that I did. My name is Juliet Imo. Welcome to the 5th episode of Walking Through Infertility. Like you know, this channel is all about parts that I took while navigating the road or the walk or the whole phenomenon called infertility. So today we'll be talking about cryptic pregnancy. I don't know if you've heard about this term. I did not know about it until after 2006. Yes. I didn't know about it. All I know is that in 2006, sometime in November 2006, a friend of mine told me she was pregnant, and I was happy for her. I was really, really excited for her. And she told me who helped her. So I went. Of course, I can't hear such news and not try to get more information, or at least try out my luck. So I went to visit the woman. Before I went, I had to get more information. I was told she was a nurse who practiced in Germany. She was a very good midwife nurse. A lot of women have testified, and she just returned back to Nigeria. Fantastic CV. So I decided to visit. Now, pack it there. Before I proceed on that story, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what cryptic pregnancy is. There is something called cryptic pregnancy. Another term for it is stilled pregnancy. And medically, according to the medical definition, it's a kind of pregnancy, I think is more amongst the Black population, that a woman will be pregnant and she would not know she's pregnant because she does not show forth the common pregnancy symptoms. Like, for example, she might not miss her period, she might not have the morning sickness, the nausea, and all those normal, typical pregnancy symptoms. According to Health Organization, there is 1 in every 475 pregnancies. There is 1 chance in every 475 pregnancies for cryptic pregnancy to occur. Now, bear in mind that the person might not know she is pregnant until a later date or later stage of the pregnancy. However, if perchance she visits the hospital in any of this period while she is pregnant, there's 100% chance that an ultrasound will pick up the pregnancy, because there is a child growing in her womb, which she is not aware of. But that does not necessarily mean that medical science will not dictate that pregnancy. That is cryptic pregnancy or stilled pregnancy according to medical terms. However, in Nigeria of recent, the definition for cryptic pregnancy has changed. And this is, I have my computer open, so I'll be looking down to the screen based on the notes I've taken. According to an article on the International Conference for Family Planning website, the definition for cryptic pregnancy is different in Nigeria. That article is titled, "Fertility Clinic Deceives Women with Cryptic Pregnancies, Increase Paternity Fraud in Nigeria." Now, in that article, it talks about cryptic pregnancy and the fact that the definition of cryptic pregnancy has changed or is different in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you hear the cases of cryptic pregnancy, or people who support the term cryptic pregnancy in Nigeria will tell you that you're pregnant. However, the practitioners who tell you you're pregnant are the only one who know you're pregnant. Your tummy gets bloated, you're not seeing your period. However, if you try to go to another hospital to do like a pregnancy scan or something, you'll find out that it won't be dictated. No baby will show up in your womb. And you will carry that pregnancy. You cannot deliver the baby in any hospital except the hospital where you were originally told you're pregnant, that they are the only ones who can deliver the pregnancy. Sometimes you will find out that the pregnancy will go beyond 9 months because the problem might not be a ready baby for you at the time you're due. You're supposedly 9 months gone. So you find a woman carrying pregnancy longer than the usual 9 months, the usual 40 weeks, and she's not going to give birth because of some situations that are not aligned in her favor. It could also be because she doesn't have the money to pay to deliver the baby. Now, an example of that can be found in an article. You can find this article in the website of Foundation for Investigative Journalism. That article was published on the 5th of January 2023, and it shares the story about a woman who has been pregnant for 4 years. For 4 years, she has been pregnant, bloated for 4 years, waiting to deliver. And of course, that pregnancy could never be found in any ultrasound machine, or the baby in her womb could never be found in any ultrasound machine, except the woman who told her she's pregnant. That's the only one who knows who knows that she's pregnant. No other doctor could dictate any pregnancy. They kept telling her, "Madam, you're not pregnant, you have cysts." But then she refused to listen because she had been suffering and carrying this pregnancy for 4 years. That article, you can read more about it in the website of Foundation for Investigative Journalism. Is well loaded, and I advise you could have a look if you're interested. Okay, that's how much this cryptic pregnancy. There are so many other articles. As it's so bad that on the 13th of April 2022, Honorable Ikenna Elezianya brought this to the House of Assembly, the House of Representatives, the lower chamber, as a topic that needed to be discussed. He felt that we needed to create public awareness on this scourge. A lot of women are falling prey. A lot of women are being deceived, and they are harming their health with the kinds of hormonal drugs that are pumped into them. He felt it was becoming a public cry that needed to be addressed by both the medical practitioners, the Ministry of Health, and of course the Ministry of Women Affairs. They needed to take this matter to the grassroots to deal with, so that people will no longer fall into these problems. Not only our parents or our couples, vulnerable couples, being deceived, but also some women is also affecting their health with regards to the hormones that are being pumped into them. So that's an article for you. That article was published by Punch on the 13th of April 2022. Another article, the Vanguard 6th of May article 2013, talked about a couple, a US-based couple that failed DNA tests when they wanted to take their twin out of Nigeria to the US. They were having fertility challenges. So of course, they were referred to a practitioner in Nigeria. They came down, did all the whole bobo regarding medical investigation, medical treatment by a herbal practitioner who supposedly got the wife pregnant. The wife stayed back, had the baby, because of course, if she had gone to the US with that pregnancy, the baby wouldn't have been delivered. But that practitioner helped her to deliver the baby. They paid 1.8 million naira. And then when the twin were old enough to travel out of Nigeria, they went to the embassy and found out that the babies weren't theirs because there was no match. This is the kind of thing that can happen to you if, unfortunately for you, you fall into this kind of problem. Then on the 29th of March 2014, another Vanguard publication titled Baby Factories Where Teenagers Deliver Unwanted Pregnancies. In this particular article, the story of a UK-based couple was also mentioned where they had come to Nigeria. They were treated by a practitioner, took their baby to the UK, and then by the time they did the DNA and all of that, they found out the baby didn't belong to them. So, but the woman swore that she had the baby. She was sure she was pregnant and she was sure the baby came from her. Anyway, the UK government took up this investigation and found out that they were victims of a fraud that was becoming very common here in Nigeria. He also talked about the story of a Cameroonian woman who the same thing happened to, and she was stopped at the border while she was trying to enter Cameroon. You need to read that article also because it detailed some very peculiar cases, and they mentioned a big time millionaire who was running a hospital or a clinic that that what was the word that's what was the word that practiced this or whatever. I'm not sure. My English failed me at this particular time. But anyway, this doctor was arrested, but I don't know what I tried to investigate more to see if I can get more details on what happened to this doctor at the end of the day, but I couldn't get more information. So I don't know if the doctor was released. All I found out was the doctor license was taken or was cancelled, whatever. But anyway, that's cryptic pregnancy. I think there's another post, daily post of March 12, 2020 in Akwa Ibom of a woman who realized when she was giving birth, after a baby was handed over to her, that she got a cut, and then a baby was handed over to her that she just gave birth. And she just somehow deep in her, she knew it wasn't true. That a baby that she just had, the umbilical cord had dried up. It was like about a week-old baby. She cried foul and raised an alarm, called the police, and told them to pay her 800,000 naira that she spent trying to have that baby. Natural birth, by the way. So where is the 800,000 coming from? But anyway, that particular woman raised an alarm, and the case, she didn't go home with that baby. She knew the baby wasn't hers. That's for her. And I think there was another article. Anyway, there are so many articles. This is what I know about cryptic pregnancy. Now, back to my own story. So in 2006, November, I visited this woman. She did some investigation. Funny enough, it didn't make sense to me. You know, the old thing that midwives used to use to listen, that thing that looks like a cone. She placed it on my tummy, listened, and I said to me that you don't ovulate. I looked at her. I said, no hormonal checks, no hormonal assay, just listen to the womb or the tummy, and she comes up with this that I do not ovulate. When I went there were lots and lots of people in that, like a two-bedroom flat. They were praying. The woman tied scarf around her head like a church woman, a very serious church woman, no makeup, nothing. She had an assistant, and then she just does that. Of course, everything in me cried foul. But like I said, at that point, I was very desperate. This was 4 years plus into my marriage in 2006, and I was becoming desperate. So when she said to me that I do not ovulate, even if everything inside of me knows it didn't make sense, but I believe that, mind you, a friend of mine was already pregnant. And then when I got there, I saw quite a lot of people that I knew from university who I thought knew better or who should know better, all there. So I figured we're all in the right place. Okay, God help us, help all of us. Let this woman be the solution. And there were a lot of people there who were also coming for treatment. At least I particularly heard a lady said that this her pregnancy is not going to go, that she's spotting, but she knows that this pregnancy will not go. I echoed, I said, amen, this pregnancy is not going anywhere. Hold on to what you have. I was, oh, you're also pregnant. She said, yeah, she's pregnant, but she's spotting. So she came to collect more medication that the nurse said that once she continues taking her hormonal shots, the progesterone, that she was going to be fine. So I agreed with that. Oh, great. We're all in this shoe together. So after the woman sees me, she places me on injection and some tablets. But the problem was that I had to come every day for 6 days to take this injection at the same time. My office was somewhere at Azikiwe Road. This woman's office was somewhere in Eleme. It was like almost 2 hours journey. I had to leave my house that was somewhere at Rumokoro area, Rumodumaya, to travel to Eleme every morning. From Eleme, I would travel to Azikiwero to go to work. I have to do all of this before 7:30 when work resumes in the morning. I tried to get her to give me the injection so that I can take it. I can go to the hospital near the house to take it. She said, no, that I must come. I said, well, no problem. I decided to do that. So I kept that journey on for 6 days. The shots, I was being given the shots on my lap. The second shot, I got an abscess. It was horrible, but what can I do? And I made a fine picking, okay? So I endured it and did that for 6 days, continued taking my medication. And that was in November. The next month, December, I didn't see my period. Remember, I was still on the medication. I had finished the injection, but I was still taking the tablet. I discovered I didn't see my period in December. For the first time in 4+ years since I got married, I'd missed my period. I was excited. I don't even know how to describe the way I felt, seriously, but heaven knows I was really happy. So I waited because my period, I felt normally my period is not it's not like 28 days mark. I can see my period between 25 days and 31 days. So I said, okay, let me wait till the 31 days mark, 31st day mark. By the 31st day mark, my period still didn't come till the end of the day. So the next day, I did a test. The test result came out negative. I waited again. The second day, which is like the 32nd day now, I did another test. It was still negative. So I kept doing tests for the whole of the week and it kept showing negative, negative. And I was still taking my medication. So I called her after like the third test and I told her, madam, my period hasn't come. She now said, you're pregnant. I said, okay, but I did the pregnancy test and it said negative. She said, oh, it's okay, that I should just keep taking my medicine and it will eventually become possible. I said, okay, I continue taking my medicine. So I mentioned to my husband that I haven't seen my period, but the pregnancy test is showing negative. So for that, the nurse told me that I should wait, give it some time. Now it was approaching Christmas and I wanted to share the good news with my family. For me, it was like, wow, wonderful Christmas gift. Christmas came, I was still not showing positive. And the woman was still saying, keep taking your medicine. I took my medicine the whole of that December and I was still showing negative. So that will probably be like 8 weeks gone now. And I was still showing negative. Mind you, me with my big mouth, once I started that treatment and heard all the good news I was hearing in that place, I started broadcasting the news, telling everybody that I knew who was trying to conceive that CEO who found the golden goose that lays the golden eggs. And I started directing people that I knew there. So, and 2 of them that I directed started having the same symptoms too. They were pregnant, hadn't seen their period, and they were still testing. So when they told me, I said, test the pregnancy, and they were still having the same issue. No period, testing negative. No period, testing negative. So towards, I think, January 2007, and I decided to call a doctor friend of mine. And I said to him, see. The first thing he said to me is, are you on any medication? It might have upset or scattered your hormone systems. I think that might just be the case since you're still testing negative in this. I said, okay, yeah. And I said, yes, I am. He said, stop the medication, take it, keep drinking a lot of water. It will flush your system, then your period will come back to normal. I said, okay. So what I did was, I think by that time, I figured even if I'm pregnant, there should be like a heartbeat based on what I have read on the medical story, journals, whatever. So I did a scan, and of course there was nothing. They told me there was nothing in my womb. I've gotten, and that there's no evidence of gestational sac or anything. So I said, okay. So the first thing I did was, of course, trashed the medication. I called the two ladies that had directed to the same place. I apologized to them and I begged them to stop taking the medication and take a lot of water to flush their system. So, so it wasn't just me, at least three people that I knew of. I also called the lady that directed me to the place and I asked her, see, I told her this is what I'm going through. Have you gone for, by then she was like 6 months, going on 7 months. So I said, have you actually gone to another hospital to check this out? She said to me that she thinks that she did a scan and nothing was seen, but I'm sure that she's confused. So I said to her, I think that woman is a scam artist. Don't worry, your time will come. This is what my doctor said. She now said, that she's tired though. I let it go. So of course I stopped taking the medication. I started doing a lot of water to flush my system. A week or so, or about a week plus after I stopped taking the medication, my period came on its own without any drama. So confirming the fact that I wasn't pregnant, that I was just, and of course that period I had all the pregnancy symptoms. My stomach was bloated, my breast was very heavy. It was so heavy breast, fuller breast, no period was first signs of course, these are usually first signs of pregnancy in a woman. So I had those signs and I was very sure that I was pregnant until the test results proved otherwise and the scan also proved otherwise. And of course, the friends that I had sent to the same place also buttressed the fact that three of us were not pregnant. So we all stopped the medication and our period started, like returned back. So this is my own experience with the so-called cryptic pregnancy. When I shared my story with my neighbor who also was waiting, she told me she had this, that she had visited the same place and she followed, she was on that charade for 6 months. And when she knew there was problem was when she was 6 months gone and the lady, she kept taking the medication and kept visiting the woman. She said when she was 6 months gone, the lady now asked her, how many babies do you want? One or two? So she was like, what do you mean one or two? How many is inside? The woman kept asking her, so how many do you want? She said, the one that is inside now. So, but because she didn't understand the kind of question the woman was asking, the woman now told her, okay, this is where you're going to have a baby. The woman referred her to another hospital in LLN1. And in that hospital in LLN1, the lady there now asked her the same question. How, if you want one, 400,000. If you want two, no, sorry, if you want one, 500,000. If you want two, 800,000 naira. So she was asking him, how can you be asking me if I want one or want two when I said I'm already pregnant. I've been pregnant for 6 months. So this is me. She said I can have the baby here. Anyway, at that point, she realized this was, so she stopped going for anyone, stopped taking her medication, and within 1 month, her period returned, and that was the end of that 6 months charade. I also know some other women who went through the same thing. Some went ahead to have the babies, some went ahead, some stopped, and of course, the period returned. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of women have fallen into this trap, and some along the line continued the charade, even though they knew it was a charade. They went on because they had gone too far to turn back, were not bold enough to turn back. Some absolutely have no idea that they are not pregnant because out of desperation, they continued, and some of them don't have that 800,000. Meanwhile, compared to 2006, 2007, the amount has increased to over 1 million, 1.58, 2 million to deliver these so-called cryptic babies. So some women can afford it, and as long as they can afford it, the pregnancy will continue and they will continue being pumped with this hormonal shots and hormonal medication, which in a way is not actually good for their health. It could cause problems along the line. While they're waiting to raise the money to bring forth this baby, they will continue to be pregnant with the so-called cryptic pregnancy. A lot of women swear by it. Some of them refuse to doubt it because they will even tell you that the practitioners have made them to understand that if they go to another hospital, the doctors will kill their babies because they don't understand this phenomenon called cryptic pregnancy and all of that. But I'm here to tell you that there is nothing like the Nigerian cryptic pregnancy. There is cryptic pregnancy, agreed. It exists. But within the period that you're not aware that you're pregnant, if you go to the hospital and run some tests, do a scan, the baby will be seen in your womb. But if you are pregnant and you go to different to different hospitals, carry out different medical tests, and find out that it's always negative and there's no gestational sac in your womb, it means you're not pregnant. Believe me, it means you're not pregnant. And you should stop the medications you're taking, because it could cause more harm to your body than good. So this is my story about cryptic pregnancy. And the seventh thing I think you shouldn't do if you're trying to conceive. Don't let desperation make you not know right and wrong anymore. Don't allow people to make you do things that you know is stupid. Stay focused, go to the hospital, pray to God, and all will be well eventually. If you try medically, everything you can do medically, and it doesn't work, then adopt. Go to the Ministry of Women Affairs in your state and try to adopt a baby legally. Because there's another story altogether on adoption scam. But I pray that God will lead you to the right source and you'll be able to adopt legally here in Nigeria. So if you think you know anybody who have been a victim or who is almost becoming one of the so-called cryptic pregnancy, please share this link with the person. If you know anyone who is going through the journey of trying to conceive, please share this link with the person. Thank you. So we'll meet again next week to continue our story of walking through infertility. Take care and have a good day. God bless you. Bye.